All right, guys, so let's start today's class. We were actually having mock 7 and we didn't finish in the last class together. So let's do that. Let's continue with mock 7. We had part 1 and 2, if I have my notes correctly here. If you guys want to check it out, help me out, you can as well. But I think that this was the case. Let me check here really fast. Yeah, I was on, yeah, class 46, then 47, it was just me and Colasso, and we had a helicopter mock. By the way, Adraldo, I don't know if you watched it already, but we covered mock 13 together, me and Colasso on the last one, because it was just him here. But today, let's continue with mock 7, because we didn't finish, so let's finish with mock 7. And I'll start over here, and you guys take turns. But we already had part 1 and 2, okay? Part 1 questions were, question 1, how do you prepare for a flight? Question 2, what do you avoid? No, sorry, follow-up question was this one here. Let me share the screen. Just a sec, guys. All right. And then, so question 1, how do you prepare for a flight? Question 2, what do you avoid doing in the evening before an early morning flight? So you can talk about drinking alcohol, sleeping too late, not resting sufficiently, and kind of this kind of thing, sleeping late, being tired before the flight. How did you start your aviation career? Then it's a personal question, so it depends on your personal background. How did you decide you wanted to be a pilot? So it's another personal question, the follow-up. And then the third question, how can airlines improve aviation safety? You guys can talk about schedule, simulator courses and training. I think I remember someone said about increasing simulator sessions or improving simulator training in general. How do you think you can contribute to make aviation safer? So basic answer here, in my opinion, standardizing operations, keeping everything according to the manual, flying the aircraft in accordance to all the SOP, the QRH, etc. Part 2 exercises. Situation 1 was that one in Santiago. Then the situation itself was the airspeed indicators showing unreliable information, then an aborted takeoff. Situation 2, we had the situation of a hydraulic fluid leak. I think this is the one that the leak is happening to the aircraft ahead. Yes, it is. So that's the one you can use the verb affecting the aircraft ahead, not my aircraft, to avoid pronouns happening to them, not to me, or affecting the aircraft ahead, not affecting the neck 1, 2, 3. Situation 3 was at Heathrow. The situation was regarding just vectors, I think. Oh, the low fuel. They understand it's a low fuel situation. They give you vectors, and you had to perform a hold pattern after you're running low on fuel. This is the one they usually mention, that you are running low on fuel, but they don't really specify if you are having a low fuel emergency or what exactly they mean with low fuel. So just paraphrase them and you should be fine. Then situation 4 was the one in which you have this cracked windshield during the flight, and then you have to mention and request to return. And then they can call that broken as well. Broken, cracked, or shattered windshield, all the same. And then in this case, they understand the situation and they just give you instructions, and they mention as a broken windshield. Then situation 5 was the dog at Salvador, I think. Let me check. Yeah, at Salvador Airport, the dog on taxiway, I think taxiway Alpha. And then after that, they understand the dog is loose on board. I think Colasso even made the correction because Adraldo didn't reply and I wasn't alert and I didn't get it. Yeah, and then now we're going to continue with part 3. So part 3 is the part you guys will listen twice to the audios, and then you have to explain to me in your own words what happened, okay? So situation 1, Colasso, are you still there? Can you start? Okay. Okay, no worries. You can keep your camera off. It's okay. It's just because I wanted to know if you're able to take it. So, situation 1, part 3. There you go. It's going to be played twice, okay? Pay attention. Sharing the audio here. All right, and go. No, wait, I got the wrong one. Okay, there you go. Situation 1.
Dubai Control. Sky Dubai 306. Emergency descent due to an uncontrollable fire, leaving flight level 310 to 10,000 feet.
Sky Dubai 306. Descend at your discretion to 10,000 feet. Report reaching.
Dubai Control. Sky Dubai 306. Emergency descent due to an uncontrollable fire, leaving flight level 310 to 10,000 feet.
Sky Dubai 306. Descend at your discretion to 10,000 feet. Report reaching.
Okay, go ahead and explain what happened here, Captain. I think you might be muted. Okay, go ahead.
For me?
Yeah, you.
The pilot reported an emergency due to uncontrollable fire on board. Reported that he was leaving flight level 310, descending to 10,000 feet, and the controller acknowledged the emergency and gave instructions that the descending at pilot discretion until 10,000 feet and report when reaching 10,000 feet.
Okay. And Captain, tell me, what do you think can be done by the pilot in a situation like that? What are the specific tasks to perform as a pilot in a situation like this one here?
I understand from I had listened that they tried everything to control a fire on board, and now it's uncontrollable. So they should go immediately for a landing, and then they need to prepare the aircraft for a quick land descent from flight level 310 to 10,000 feet as soon as possible, and do all the checklist for a landing.
Okay, the answer was not so bad, but the question was a little more generic. Like, what should pilots do in general? Like, what do you think should be done by the pilots in a situation like this? Not necessarily what they did. You already explained what they did. But in your opinion, what should be the actions performed by pilots when undergoing a situation like this?
At first, declare the emergency so they can have vectors and be the closest airport prepared as soon as he landed for the fire department to help them, and perform all the checklists for a emergency landing.
Okay. All right, good. Now, Captain, let's go to, let me see if I have a follow-up for you here. Yeah, this one is interesting still, because there's a secondary question here that I replaced for you, because it's a question about pressurization. What is the procedure in case of decompression? Now, sometimes they do have decompression audios on the test of helicopter pilots, but the question itself, they usually don't ask, because if they ask you, you can always say, well, I don't know much about decompression because I fly helicopters. So usually they don't ask the question itself. So I have another one here for you. What are the risks of an emergency descent?
Risks of emergency
Yes.
descent. Let me think.
Mhm. Just correction here. Of emergency descent. Descent com T, porque a gente está no substantivo, descida. Se a gente se referir a descida, A gente está usando o of, né? Então é de alguma coisa, tá? Obviamente o of ele puxa um substantivo, porque ele é de ou do algo, né? So, the risk of an emergency descent. Aqui, se você falar descend, ele vai marcar um errinho gramatical, entendeu? Eu já vi isso em anotação de prova de aluno, o cara marca lá erro de descend e descent. Só um D ou um T no final, já dá uma penalidadezinha.
Okay. Actually, I don't think that we have so many risks in an emergency descent. Maybe a pilot's orientation or
Mid-air collision, maybe, with another aircraft at another flight level. Could increase the risk of a collision if you have, let's say, a congested airspace, I suppose.
yes, that's it.
If you're flying RVSM, perhaps, maybe the best idea is to not only descend, but change your course a little bit to be a little more offset of flight route. Yeah, I think that's it. But provided you have TCAS and flight control, then separation is not so much of a problem. But maybe this could be a factor. All right. Now let's go to situation 2. Adraldo is the one who is going to explain this one. There he goes.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. Miami approach, American 2468. We have heavy vibration on engine number 2, requesting priority to land.
American 2468, roger. Descend to 4000. You are number 1 for landing. Squawk Mayday on 7700.
Mayday, mayday, mayday. Miami approach, American 2468. We have heavy vibration on engine number 2, requesting priority to land.
American 2468, roger. Descend to 4000. You are number 1 for landing. Squawk Mayday on 7700.
Okay, the aircraft reported a Mayday situation due to a high vibration on engine number 2, and requested priority for landing. The controller instructed the aircraft to descend to 4,000 feet, informed they were number 1 for landing, and asked to squawk code 7700.
Okay. And Captain, heavy vibration, engine 2, priority to land, 4,000 feet descend. Yeah, you got it all. And Captain, what situations could possibly lead to an engine vibration?
Well, I believe that some problem that can lead an engine vibration could be
lead to an engine vibration.
Lead to an engine vibration could be some problem of turbine, problem inside of turbine, inlet, some inlet problem, some, for example, a bird strike, bird ingestion in an engine.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that these are some examples that can lead to an engine vibration.
Nice, nice. I like the conclusion sentence you use here. I believe these are some of the examples that could lead to an engine vibration scenario. Nice, very, very good.
Thank you.
All right. Now, situation 3 for Crawford. Let me see if I have a follow-up. No, the last one is actually repetitive. How do you handle engine vibrations? No worries. Let's go to situation 3. Crawford, there he goes.
Let's go. São Paulo Control, Qatar 6425. We have low oil pressure. Request priority landing. We have dangerous goods on board.
Qatar 6425, São Paulo Control, roger. Descend to 5,000 feet, fly heading 080 to avoid traffic. Expect vectors runway 27 left. ILS is unserviceable. Confirm nature of cargo.
São Paulo Control, Qatar 6425. We have low oil pressure. Request priority landing. We have dangerous goods on board.
Qatar 6425, São Paulo Control, Roger. Descend to 5,000 feet, fly heading 080 to avoid traffic. Expect vectors runway 27 left. ILS is unserviceable. Confirm nature of cargo.
Okay.
All right, go ahead and explain what happened here. What did the pilot and controller said?
Okay. In this audio, the pilot requested prior to land. Due
Priority,
to
fala mais devagar. Priority to land.
In this audio, the pilot requested priority to land due to low oil pressure. Okay. Then they informed to the controller they carry on dangerous goods on board. The controller acknowledged their situation and instructed the pilot descend to 5,000 feet, flying heading 080 in order to avoid traffic, and gave vectors to runway 27 left. Then they informed the ILS was out of service, and to confirm about the dangerous good on board.
Okay. All right. And Captain, now tell me, do you believe that, sorry, what do you believe can happen to an aircraft when the engine oil pressure drops? What are the possibilities of consequences due to oil pressure dropping?
Well, the probably consequence if you have low oil pressure, it is lost the engine. Okay, probably the pilot needs to
losing the engine.
Losing
the engine. Yeah.
Losing. Probably the pilot needs to shut down the engine. Okay, in order to avoid more damage on the engine. That's it.
Damage. Yeah, in order to avoid more damage on the engine or more damage to the engine would be even better, but damage on the engine would be okay as well. All right. And can you tell me a little bit about this kind of situation from a pilot perspective? What should you do as a pilot to handle a situation like this?
Well, in my opinion, the pilot needs to shut down the engine, okay, and run the SOP. Contact the controller, and if possible, request landing a suitable airport as possible.
All right. In a suitable airport as soon as possible. Faltou as soon as possible.
As soon as possible.
Ou ASAP. Aliás, ASAP é uma abreviação que a gente pode falar ela tanto ASAP, que é uma abreviação, ou como um acrônimo, ASAP.
ASAP.
Porque é a dica de vocabulário. So the pilot should request a suitable airport ASAP or ASAP or as soon as possible. Okay. Good. Now go ahead and compare the three situations to us, Alfred. We heard a total of three situations here. Tell me how they compare to each other and which one you think would be the worst one to deal with as a pilot and why. You may compare them in terms of severity, possible solutions, or ways of prevention.
Well, in my opinion, I believe situation one is the worst situation in here. Okay, uncontrollable fire on board. It is a dangerous situation and could be catastrophe if the fire couldn't control it. In this situation, the pilot needs to land as soon as possible and try to extinguish the fire.
The pilot should try
to extinguish the fire. Situation two and situation three the both situation, we are talking about lost one engine, okay? Of course, it is an emergency situation, and in the both situation, the pilot needs to land as soon as possible. But of course, they could continue their flight. They have time to run the SOP, check the engine parameters, maybe restart the engine if possible. But this both situation is less dangerous than first situation.
Okay. All right. You said in the both situation first, then you said it again in both situation, and in the end you said this both situations. Both já é um plural, porque é ambos. Então não se usa o the, é só both situations, plural. Não both situations. E aí, se você fosse usar o this, até dá these both situations, mas é redundante, é um pleonasmo. Melhor ficar no both situations. In these situations or in both situations, mas não in the both situations or in these both situations, entendeu? In both situations.
Okay. In both situations.
Em ambas as situações, e não em nas ambas. Entende o que você está falando? É como se você estivesse falando em nas ambas ou em a ambas, entendeu? Não faz sentido, porque ambas é plural. Então, não pode ser também ambas situação, tem que ser ambas situações. Ambas é plural, é o both em inglês, tá? Só cuidado, então, usando o both. Eu anotei aqui, aí do material fica feito lá depois, aquele que eu tenho feito das aulas, uma coisa de gramática sobre o uso do both, com mais exemplos aqui, já anotei. All right, good. Now let's go to part 4, and it's full circle now, so let's go back to Conosco. Conosco, go ahead and describe this picture here to us. Let me picture for you. Now, since you are a helicopter pilot, in the airplane test, in this one, Mach 7, you would be one of these pictures. But just for us to make the class a little more tailor-made to you, I'll get a similar helicopter picture. So you can actually use a helicopter picture similar to these ones, which would be more similar to what you have in the test. Let me just open it up here just a second. Helicopters, there they are. Okay, let me choose one about some sort of evacuation or fire situation for helicopters. All right, could be this one. Yeah, that one's good. Just a second as I open it up. I found it, but it's not opening. Okay, this one. Open. Yeah. All right, you'll see it in just a bit. It's loading. Okay, did you see it?
Yes.
All right, so go ahead and describe this picture to us. Tell us what you see and what you think was happening here.
On this picture, I can see a landed helicopter, but it's on fire. I can see that it is a medvac helicopter, or a helicopter used to transport patients from one place to the hospital. I don't know. I can't see where the fire started, but looks like it was in the number 1 engine, the left side engine. So after that, the fire spread to the tail of the helicopter. That's it. The helicopter looks like he made an emergency landing.
Helicopter não pode ser he.
It made emergency landing, because you can see a car very close to the helicopter. So for me, it looks like a square or a place that he just landed. It just landed, and what I can see, looks like for me that the blades are not running anymore. The aircraft is ended, and looks like all the crew left the helicopter after that. And
Wrap it up. Use some sentences for your conclusion. Wrap it up.
And I can see here from the picture the emergency, the fire trucks and things. It looks like for me that they didn't arrive yet to help to extinguish the fire.
All right, yeah. I cannot see any help, any assistance. Seems like in this case, assistance did not yet come. They did not arrive yet. And that's it. This is what I see here. It's a picture of a helicopter on fire, and it has landed. It, né? A gente está falando do helicóptero, então, se for usar o pronome para ele, é o it, né? And that's it. This is what we see here in this picture. All right. Taking the advantage here of having pictures for helicopter pilots and airplane pilots as well, about the same type of situation, I'll ask Adroaldo to describe one as well, like this, and then I'll ask Crawford later, and then I'll ask you guys the questions as well. So, yeah, let's do the following. Wait, since I already asked you, Colasso, to describe first, and the picture still fresh in your mind, let's actually go to your picture again, and you can answer the question. So, what do you think happened before the picture was taken?
Before the picture, I can imagine that they were flying. Okay, so they have an emergency alarm, a fire alarm on the cockpit, and they tried to extinguish the fire while flying, but as they can't extinguish it, they couldn't extinguish it. They went for a emergency landing. They declared the emergency, and after performing the checklist, the land checklist, they went for a emergency landing.
All right, good job. So yeah, before the picture was taken, probably they had a severe engine problem. Maybe they might have had I don't know, some sort of indication for pressure, high temperature before the fire started. Maybe they had an associated problem as well, like a bird ingestion. It's hard to tell, but probably they had indications going beyond limits before having the fire like this. Yeah. All right. Now I'll ask Adroaldo to describe another helicopter picture that somehow resembles the situation that we are discussing here. But this one, remember you guys, I always say that we have three types of pictures, right? One in which a situation is ongoing. It's the case here, was the case before as well. One which is the aftermath, the consequential scenario, and one which is like, just business as usual, just a normal day. And then that's not the case for neither of them. So go ahead and describe this one here. Tell me what you see and what you think is happening here, Adroaldo.
Okay, so I can see in this picture probably a skill aircraft type of Airbus manufacturer, and it seems that there are some.
It's not an Airbus manufacturer. It's manufactured by Airbus.
It's manufactured by Airbus, and so it's possible to see smoke, unexpected smoke. How can I say, saindo?
Coming out of the main rotor or the tail rotor, difficult to say.
So can you repeat, please?
Coming out, we have some smoke coming out. Yes. Coming out.
coming out from the engine. I believe that the engine or maybe main gearbox, and probably the pilot would be emergency landing, in my opinion. So
Okay.
I think that's it.
All right.
That I can see.
Yeah,
in
that's
this
it.
picture.
It's a helicopter mid-flight. We see the helicopter is still in the air. It seems like this is a television helicopter. It does have a
Yes.
gyroscopic mounted camera.
Camera.
It's a single pilot operation. We see just one pilot flying the helicopter. It's a black Airbus Skilo helicopter, I believe. There's a lot of smoke coming out from the helicopter. I think it's coming off the main rotor, maybe on the exhaust pipe here. I don't know. The helicopter seems to be having some sort of engine problem. And that's it. This is what I see here. The scenario in the back and in the bottom, the landscape, we see the ground is a little blurry because of the movement, I think. It's a little hazy and it's also blurred. And that's it. This is what I see here in the picture. Not much more to talk about. It's a simple picture. All right. And what do you think happened after the picture was taken, Aderaldo?
Well, I believe that during the flight, the pilot received some caution warning, and probably will provide, improve, or probably they
Pode usar,
will do.
pode usar would. Lembra, a gente está na hipótese.
Right.
Probably would request. The pilot would probably would.
All right. So probably the pilot would be perform an emergency procedure, following immediate actions, and if it's possible, run the checklist. When pilot fly alone, it is difficult to perform a checklist, but it's important to have in mind the immediate actions and perform an emergency landing as soon as possible.
Okay. All right. Well done. Now, finally, Crawford. Now, Crawford will go to the picture itself, the airplane picture of Mach 7. So now, Crawford, let's do the following. They have two pictures. Describe one of them, choose yours, and I'll describe the other one. But first describe yours, and then I'll ask you a question.
Okay, perfect.
Which one?
That could be the first.
The first one up top,
picture.
okay. This one. Go
on
ahead.
top. Yeah, no problem. Well, in this picture, I can see emergency evacuation happens. Okay. I couldn't identify how kind of airplane we are talking in this picture. Maybe it is Airbus, but I'm not sure. Well, there are many passengers on the right wing. Okay, try to descend the aircraft.
Trying to what? Trying to?
Descend.
Verbo.
Try to descend.
Mas, aqui eu daria a sugestão do climb
exit.
down.
Climb
Escalar
down?
para baixo. Em inglês é escalar para cima e escalar para baixo. Trying to climb down the wing, trying to climb down. Yeah.
Trying to climb down
Descend
the
é
wing.
menos usual para
Okay.
esse tipo de coisa aqui. E aí você evita também o possível erro do descend e descend. They are trying to descend, o verbo, tá? Mas you wouldn't say descend in this case. You would say they're trying to climb down the aircraft wing. They're trying to climb down of the aircraft.
Climb down. Okay. Trying to climb down the aircraft. Well, the left landing gear was on fire. Okay, we can see fire coming from probably the brake assembly, and there are some fumes and fall around of the airplane. Probably the firefighters trying to control the fire. Well, that's it.
Okay. Did you say Cummings or did you say coming and I heard it incorrectly?
I believe I say coming. But,
Okay. We can see fire coming. Lembra que
coming.
o S no final do verbo nunca vai estar associado com a outra conjugação, né? O gerúndio já tá, we can see fire coming, aí não vai ter S nenhum. Poderia ter S no verbo quando ele tá no indicativo. He comes, she comes, it comes, né? Beleza? Mas aí não estaria o ING. Um ou outro. Alright. Now, I'll describe one. I'll describe the other one, then I'll ask you a question. Alright, so let me describe this one here. So in this picture, I see an evacuation procedure of an airline aircraft. The situation was still ongoing when someone took the picture. I can see many people carrying their personal belongings and wearing their shoes, which sometimes is not ideal. You know, I think that most times people should not try to get their belongings in an evacuation. But I'm not a flight attendant. I'm not sure how they decide or not to manage the situation according to each scenario. But in this picture, I see an evacuation procedure. Basically, there's not much else I could talk about it other than describe the aircraft and the situation itself, which is, I think, a 777 that had some sort of critical engine problem affecting the left engine. There's a huge fire truck spraying, dousing the engine with water or some sort of fire extinguishing foam, and a lot of smoke pouring from the engine. And a curious thing is that the left engine is on fire. However, people are having to move to the left side because of the wind. The smoke is on the right side. So we have a fire on the left side of the aircraft and we have smoke on the right side, and the evacuation has to be done primarily through the right side because of the fire on the left side. So if you look at the mid-fuselage door, it's not the mid-fuselage hatch, the emergency hatch is not open, just the rear door, because it's too close to the fire. So I guess most of the evacuation is occurring on the right side. However, due to the smoke, I think people are having to evacuate on the right side and move away, maybe even around the aircraft to the other side. I don't know, just something curious about this picture. That's it. And that's it. This is what I see here, an evacuation procedure on the tarmac. That's it. All right. Now let me ask you a question. Captain, wait, I have to close this one to see the question, sorry. All right. So question, I already asked the questions like before the picture was taken and after the picture was taken to the other students. So Crawford, I'll ask you question 4. What are the main challenges, in your opinion, in relation to passenger safety during evacuation processes? It's muted. I'll ask you to unmute.
Okay, now. I believe the biggest challenge during the emergency evacuation is maintain the passengers under control. Okay, everybody's come down and follow all procedures taken by flight attendant.
Okay.
Mm.
So to maintain calm or to keep calm would be even better. Yeah?
Keep calm.
I believe the biggest challenge, aí você falou assim, I believe the biggest challenge is maintain. Is to maintain.
It's to
Porque a gente tá
maintain.
falando porque tá no infinitivo, concorda? I believe the biggest challenge is to maintain, mas aqui eu preferiria até o keep, tá? Pra falar em ficar calmo. Por vocabulário mesmo, assim como é melhor o climb down pra falar de descer no sentido de desescalar uma asa, vamos dizer assim, seria melhor o to keep calm do que o maintain calm.
Okay.
Digamos que é mais usual. Se eu falasse assim, fique calmo, Ou, em vez de fique, eu usasse um sinônimo em português, tipo, esteja. É estranho o cara falar esteja calmo. Você falaria fique calmo. Então tem algumas palavras que elas são só mais usuais, entende? É como uma pessoa fala preto e branco ou branco e preto o filme. Você fala preto e branco, né? Então, tem algumas coisas que elas são só por serem mais usuais, tá? Para falar a respeito de alguma coisa. So, to
Good.
keep calm. I believe the biggest challenge is to keep calm. Yeah. And I think that this is why it's important for flight attendants to assist people in evacuation procedures, to really try to help them with the evacuation procedure and keep them calm. Which takes us to the next question. Next question is for you, Aderaldo. What are the main concerns related to the safety of passengers during an evacuation, in your opinion?
So can you repeat, please?
Sure. What are the main concerns related to safety of passengers during an evacuation?
Well, as Crawford said, it's important to instruct correctly the passengers that the message arrive correctly, and they understand the situation and follow the instructions. I think this is important. Concern is to maintain control over the passengers.
Okay. All right. To instruct. Aqui só. A única correção, tá? O
Okay,
faz
to
som de
instruct.
aqui com a tônica. To instruct, not to instruct. All right.
To
Now,
instruct the passengers.
yes. Colasso, tell me, to what extent pilots may rely on aircraft rescue and firefighting services at airports?
I think they should be reliable in any airport because the airport to be certificated
To be certified.
it should be be approved for a lot of things for the runway, for the communications on the tower, and even for the emergency service. And you can find, like for instance, in the case of Brazil, in Rota Air, you can check what is the category of the emergency five trucks, emergency fire service, which category they can deal with. So I think we need to rely on the emergency service at the airport.
All right. Now I'm going to read a statement, and I want you to tell me to what extent you agree, okay? Olas?
Okay.
All right. So here goes. Nowadays, pilots are very well trained and highly qualified to manage real emergency situations, even if they had never had a chance to experience that problem in the simulator.
I agree partially, at least with the first part of the statement. I can agree with. We are nowadays pilots are more trained to deal with emergency situations better than in the past. But the reason, or not the reason, but the second part states that even for situations that we never trained before. So in this case, I disagree with this part. I do believe that we are best trained today because of the simulators, because of the training that we can do at simulators, so we can train there things that we can do in a real flight.
We can practice for the real situation and be more used to what can be done in a real flight. Good job. Let me help you out here with some ideas for that statement, but I totally agree with you. I would say that I agree with the statement partially as well. I think that it's not totally true that we can be well prepared even if we hadn't had the situation in real life. So I think that it's true pilots are well trained, but simulators still very relevant and in my opinion is the most crucial type of training. So I wouldn't agree that we are also well prepared even if we never had the chance to experience the problem in the simulator. I would say that if we never experienced the problem in the simulator, we are not so well prepared as we should for that specific problem. Now, obviously, you can also prepare in other ways, but none of them are so effective as simulator training. So I agree in parts. I partially agree with the statement, but I think that it's the way I see it is a little different. I would go beyond. I would say that they are very well prepared when they had everything in the simulator. If not, they are prepared, but not so well prepared. That's how I see it. Yeah. Now, any type of argument that you make in which you present a more nuanced point of vision, a more nuanced point of view, not vision, it's definitely a plus for the test because you show more fluency if you are able to somehow wait a little bit more, weigh in a little more of your opinions and try to explain why. Você dá aquela ponderada, sabe? Faz uma ponderação de concordância ou discordância não ser plena por algum motivo e elabora. Claro que isso pode ser um pouco mais difícil, por isso que acaba ganhando mais nota. Mas, ao mesmo tempo, você pode preparar esse tipo de argumento, né? Naquele nosso material de parte 4, inclusive, posso mandar novamente no grupo se vocês não tiverem com ele acesso rápido. E aqueles de interação também, aquele monte de frase. Tem muitos argumentos que eu coloco ali, frases, né? Expressões que eu coloco que são sempre nessa linha de uma complementação de um raciocínio, de uma concordância parcial, de alguma coisa que dá esse teor de nuance, sabe? Porque realmente isso convence o seu interlocutor de uma capacidade argumentativa melhor e por óbvio também no inglês mais apto, né, a lidar com opiniões e tal, que é o que a prova quer testar, né? Senão ela não faria você passar por esse tipo de exercício, né? Ah, você concorda ou discorda com esse argumento, estende um pouco, quer dizer, ele quer que você elabore. Se você não consegue elaborar, fica muito preto no branco o tempo inteiro, também não tem problema, errando pouco, falando bem, você passa na prova também, tá? Mas eu sempre acho que vale a pena você trabalhar para aquele inglês que está mais maceteado, mais memorizado, as frases mais trabalhadas, elas serem aquela, pô, que dá um plus, né? Já que você está estudando para a prova, e todos aqui estão, então que aquelas frases onde a gente vai ter digamos, de porto seguro, sejam excelentes frases, né? Não custa nada, já que a gente está trabalhando por elas. Então, nesse final aqui, por exemplo, de statement, eu gosto muito de referenciar, por exemplo, a premissa da pergunta. Já uso um vocabulário legal, de maneira fácil. Você fala, I partially agree, but I have to say I slightly disagree with the premise of this, or better saying, I agree with the premise that pilots are well trained nowadays, and they have, they're better prepared because of simulator, but I tend to slightly disagree because I think that whenever we don't practice something in the simulator, we are not so well prepared for it. So the way I see it, the statement is almost perfect. I tend to agree with it, but I would go beyond. I would say that. Olha eu usando would aqui, but I would go beyond, que eu tava falando para vocês, às vezes estão usando muito will. Lá na parte 3 eu mencionei para alguém, lembra? Would, hipótese. But I would go beyond this. Eu iria além. Usa, tá? Porque isso aqui é a construção igual do português. Se você pegar, você vai ver que não é um bicho de 7 cabeças, como parece usar o would, tá? But I would go beyond this. I would say that pilots are well-trained, but they are not so well-trained if they never had the chance to experience the problem in the simulator. Aí aqui eu usei a paráfrase na conclusão, né? Beleza? Alguma pergunta? Alguma dúvida? Eu posso ir?
No
Desmutem-se.
doubt.
Ok.
Adoro essas palavras que a gente faz em português, que a gente transforma em inglês em português. Desmutem-se.
Desmutem.
Isso é muito interessante, né? O português é versátil, né? Em sufixos e prefixos. Em jogo a gente faz muito isso. Mas desculpa, alguém tem alguma dúvida? Vocês estão desmutados agora. Não?
No,
Tudo
thanks.
certo? Eu tava falando em jogo, a gente faz muito isso, né? Eu jogo com a minha filha um pouco de computador, né? A gente tem mais de um computador em casa e faz umas jogatinas aqui, eu, ela, minha filha, minha esposa. E aí eu tava falando disso com ela outro dia, né? Como no... O inglês também faz, mas faz com o próprio inglês, porque eles não têm um outro idioma para puxar pro dia a dia deles, igual a gente tem, né? A gente usa muita palavra em inglês. Isso aqui é o quê? Um mouse. A gente vai ao shopping, né? Então a gente tem muita coisa incutida culturalmente, né, no nosso dia a dia, e aí a gente usa aquela palavra em jogos ao tempo todo. A gente usa aquela palavra de maneira aportuguesada, né?
Portuguesado.
É esquisitíssimo, isso é muito legal, eu acho muito maneiro. E no jogo a gente faz direto. Tipo, tem um conceito do jogo que a gente joga que é você farmar. Eu não tenho a palavra em português para falar isso. Que é você ganhar dinheiro com. Digamos, farm, nesse caso, vem do inglês de fazenda, né? De você criar e
Uhum.
tal. E aí no jogo você usa o verbo I must farm, quer dizer, eu preciso gerar recurso, vamos dizer assim. Falar isso em português, gerar recurso. Eu vou farmar. Então vira um verbo também, farmar. Rushar, né? Rushar é atacar rápido, é o rush, né? Rush, depressa. Então tem um monte de palavra que vai indo assim, que é interessantíssimo. Beleza, então é isso. Desmutaram-se, me despedi. Vamos nessa, que hoje tenho igreja agora, hora da graça. Eu ia agradecer, pedir ajuda também,
Aí.
porque precisar lá. Valeu, galera.
Senhores,
Legal,
um
thank you.
abraço.
Semana para
Com Deus
vocês.
Abraço para
aí.
E
vocês.
lembrem-se,
Uma boa
mandem
noite.
feedback hein, das coisas lá, se tiver algum erro em alguma coisa, tá? E quando eu tiver com tudo mais concluído, que eu vou fazer um serviço mais assim aberto para geral e mandar por e-mail, aí conto com vocês para ajudar a divulgar. Vocês vão tudo ter cupom grátis para usar lá ou com muito desconto.
Show.
Valeu.
Obrigado.
Pega
Valeu,
lá, vocês
senhores.
são minhas
Até mais.
cobaias, mas eu vou chamar vocês de membros fundadores, mas na verdade vocês são cobaias. Valeu. Falou.
Valeu.
Tchau, tchau.
Boa noite,
Valeu.
boa noite. Até. Valeu, pô. Obrigado.
Valeu.